It's time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Okay, welcome to Dark Talk.
Hi.
We're back. How you doing?
We are back.
You look familiar.
Nice little break.
Steve Poncielman with Mystery Mark. Another episode of Dark Talk brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. I got my new Cosmo stuff.
Nice. You were excited about that a couple weeks ago.
Well, where did we leave off?
Did you get like a year's supply or?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Probably more than that. Did we talk about Michigan last week? Or last show?
I don't think
we did.
No.
Well, okay. So here's the deal. This is not really a plug. This is factual, player stuff. 2 years ago in January, so what, 22 months ago, right? I talked to, I started using these carbon fiber shafts that I thought were the bomb. I just thought they were great.
Why did you start using them? Somebody tell you?
Somebody's like, hey, check out these shafts.
Try these, yeah.
Just, here, you want to try these? I'm like, yeah, okay, well, whatever. Screw them on there. And I'm like, wow, these are really great. And it took me, I had to get a different size eventually, but using my old darts, I had the perfect setup. And for some reason, these carbon fiber shafts, I thought, really helped my darts in flight. I felt like there was, for some reason, there was more inertia behind the center of the barrel, and they flew straighter.
All right.
Okay? So I'm happy.
Right.
And everything. But nobody made spinners. And I'm like, how come you're not making spinners? Because I'm convinced that the spinning shafts do help you.
Right.
Now, you'll get... There's some people that don't agree with me, but...
That
what
would
do
be
I
the first
care?
time.
Yeah,
right.
well...
But as far as
Darren Young on 82.
As far as your game is convinced,
flying in the face of the mathematics.
As far as your game's convinced,
I was convinced. Right.
You're concerned, I should say.
So last January, I think, so a year ago almost, they announced that they were going to be making these carbon fiber spinning shafts. It might have been even earlier.
Right.
And they
Doesn't
showed
really
a
matter.
picture on somebody's website, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait. Couldn't get them.
Why were they sold out?
They didn't make them.
They didn't make them yet.
And there was, I don't know, I don't remember what the deal was where, one company had them, but then whoever was manufacturing for them, they ended their deal, so they weren't. So I went and bought, 5 sets thinking I'd never see them again. Well, Cosmo just came out with carbon fiber spinning shafts.
Yeah.
So I used them at the Cricket Regional in Grand Rapids 2 Saturdays ago.
Okay.
Right?
So you weren't using carbon fiber 2 months ago?
No, I was using...
Because you had the spinning flights. I know the ones you had. Those weren't the carbon fiber
those
ones?
were the gears.
Okay.
Those were Cosmo gears, which are, kind of a thick, very hard...
Plastic.
Some sort of...
Vinyl type.
Some sort of synthetic something or other.
Okay.
I mean, they're
but
almost...
They weren't the carbon fiber ones.
Right. But they're practically unbreakable.
Yeah.
But they were much lighter because I had switched to aluminum, right? So I was using aluminum shafts up until Little River, where I saw one of them was bent, right?
All right.
So, okay. So
now you got these shafts.
Now I'm like, I get a set of magnesium spinners, which are extremely well thought of. They're pricey. The magnesium shafts are pricey. So and I got the magnesiums at one size, and then I got the carbon fiber ones just a trifle longer, a couple of millimeters longer. And I go out to try these out like the night before I go to Michigan, and I throw the magnesiums, and I'm like, you know what, they're kind of, I don't know what the deal is. So then, let me try these carbon ones. So I brought a couple of different kinds of flights, which is a nice thing about fit flights. You pop everything on. So I'm warming up with these carbon fiber spinning shafts.
Yeah.
And I don't know, 20 minutes, can't miss.
Right.
Just literally can't miss. So now I'm all excited. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to use these tomorrow at this cricket regional. There's 9 guys, so you have to play 8 matches.
Round robin.
Round robin,
right.
Yeah. So I got to play 8 guys, 3 legs apiece. Or 9 guys, 3 legs apiece. Whatever it was.
8 guys if there's 9 people, including you.
So that's 24?
Yeah.
So then there's 9 guys. No, there's 10 guys.
10 guys
okay,
including
so there's
you.
10 guys, so I got to play 9 matches.
27.
Whatever it was, I played for, I don't know, 4.5 hours, however long it took, did not drop a leg.
Really?
Not only that, I didn't really come that close to dropping a leg.
Was it part of your hypermodern cricket?
I didn't even have to. I didn't really have to break out any special moves. I just kept throwing 7 counts. I'd just go 7, 7, 7, 7, and be like, man, I'm pretty far ahead.
Need some bullseyes?
Yeah, throw some bullseyes. So I played good. So I was very, stoked about these shafts, which I've now waited almost 2 years for.
And now you got a whole set of them.
2. I got 2 sets of them, which, considering they last a lifetime, I should be good on carbon fiber spinning shafts. Yeah. So those come with my personal recommendation. The best shafts I've ever seen, and I've used them all. I've used every kind of conceivable shaft known to man, and these are by far the best shafts I've ever seen. And I was in love with those carbon fiber ones.
Right.
I was really,
All right.
So, anyway.
Disclaimer?
Okay, let's...
Maybe. This might be the last time we can use
this will be the last time you hear this disclaimer. Yeah.
I'm not familiar precisely with exactly what I said, but I stand by what I said, whatever it was.
Yeah, we're not.
Thanks, Mitt, and
Thank
see you later.
Willard. Willard Mitt Romney. I mean, we brushed on politics. I mean, I hope everybody in New York can hear the show. I guess things are better now in most places, but still messed up in some.
Right.
And
how was your week off?
Well,
Seeing you had something to do with the election, did you not?
Well, because my girlfriend is political.
Right.
And so she
to say
had
the
me.
least.
She's like, "Well, we have to volunteer to go drive people to the polls." I'm like,
"Oh,
really?
Okay." I thought you were going to just watch the returns. I didn't know you were going to.
Well, that was the original plan.
Right.
I was going to watch the returns last Tuesday night. As it turned out, I ended up going to Wisconsin for 2 days, canvassing.
Oh, really?
In southern Wisconsin. I
Sunday
believe
and
it's
Monday.
in Paul Ryan's district. Yeah, Sunday and Monday. Well, Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So then Tuesday, she's like, well, you have to drive people to the polls. And I'm like, well, they want me to work some phone bank. So I go downtown to work some phone bank for 3 hours. And this,
did you
really
do this by yourself, or did your girlfriend go with you?
Hundreds of people. Well, she was working.
Did you guys get bused?
Well, okay.
You got bused to Wisconsin?
Here's what happened. She had to work Monday. So Tuesday, she drives me downtown so I can work this phone bank. And then we're going to go watch the return somewhere. And I'm like, well, I got a good place for us to go. So I go to work this 3-hour phone bank, and this girl with a British accent is like, are you free for the day? And I'm like, well, yeah, I guess. She's like, well, you want to go to Wisconsin? And I'm like, really? I was there yesterday. She's like, well, we're going to do some more canvassing. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. So I'm down there, and there's all these people, and they got these big coach buses and everything to, ship these people to Wisconsin. And the guy's like, I'm like, do you want me to try to get more people? And he's like, well, yeah, and if you have a car, that'd be cool too. And I'm like, okay, fine. So, I call up Jill, and I'm like, hey, you want to go to Wisconsin and canvass? Come now. Bring the car. So we threw a couple of people in the car, drove up to Wisconsin. But we were there so late that by the time we got back, they gave us special VIP passes to go to McCormick Place for the big
to the rally
big party and everything. And I was like, okay, all right, I'll go. Jill's very Obama.
Yeah.
Jill's just
She would have been excited to go to that.
She was stoked, but she had to go home and take a shower and all this other stuff. So literally, we dropped the people that we took to Wisconsin off downtown. We turn around. We're going to go on Lakeshore Drive to go home, and we're in a huge hurry. And all of a sudden, the cops are blowing whistles, throwing up barricades because here comes the motorcade for the vice president. And I'm like, I don't think this is going to work. So we have to detour around. They shut down this street, so we're trapped by Grant Park. And eventually, we're trying to get on Lakeshore Drive at Michigan, and that entrance is under construction. So now I'm taking side streets to North Avenue. It's like the nightmare. So literally, she's like putting on her makeup when they call the election, and I'm like, we're never going to get to McCormick Place in time because you can't drive there. You got to take the red line to Chinatown and then walk across. And I'm like, there's no way we're going to make it. So we kept our special VIP passes with the little stringy around the neck and stuff. So
that's cool.
But it's, politics. I mean, I bet you most of our listeners voted for the other guy. So as long as everybody voted, that's a good thing.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, elections are decided by people who show up.
Right.
So if you didn't vote and your guy didn't win, you can only blame
nothing.
yourself.
You can't say anything.
Anyway, I don't know. I don't want to talk about politics.
So
but that was pretty much my weekend. I played the cricket regional.
Yeah.
Played awesome. Well, I didn't play awesome, but I mean, I played solid all day, and just odds are you're going to drop a leg here and there if you're guys hit stuff. But every time somebody hit a 7, I hit a 9, so it was like pretty cool. I credit the shafts. I don't credit myself.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
Because it wasn't happening until you used the shafts. So
there's something about these carbon fiber shafts where there's just a little more behind the middle of my dart. That they fly so much better. They fly straight. They go in the board strong, and they don't miss as often. So, buy a better game. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Buy a better game.
Well, that's
carbon
just,
fiber
that's
spinning
any sport,
shafts.
though.
I'm telling you, they are absolutely the bomb. And if you look at a lot of the pros, they're all using carbon fiber shafts, or they're using magnesium. And the people that are like. They're more expensive than a normal set of shafts. But if you're going to spend $3 on these nylon ones that break and then you put on another one, by the end of the year, if you play often, you're going to spend $20 on shafts. Get a good set of shafts that last 5 years because these things don't break.
Right. Oh, no, that makes sense.
I mean, they just don't break.
Yeah. Yeah, so, if you're going to play once every 5 months, then maybe not. But if you're playing all the time.
And I got a new case. The cases are on. Well, I got it. I'll show you. I'll show you. The first break, I'll show you.
Now you look good, too, is what you're saying.
Wow.
At least your darts do.
According to Jill, I always look good if I brush my hair. All right, let's take our first break. I'll show you the case, and we'll be right back. This will be a quick one. Remember, you're listening to Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com, and we'll be right back.
We'll find out.
Okay, we're back.
We are back. That was short and sweet.
That was a quick one.
Yeah.
So what do you think of the case?
I like it.
It's nice, isn't it?
It is nice. Little Cosmo darts right here. And
we'll show it to the camera. I mean, it's
already.
A cool-looking case. Okay, so get this. Have you ever seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
A long time ago.
Okay.
It's been a while.
There's this scene where, this one guy is like stuck in the desert by Clint Eastwood and this other guy are kind of running around doing crimes. And Clint Eastwood dumps this guy in the desert, Eli Wallach.
Yeah.
Right? So Eli Wallach, ends up at some little kind of border town, And the first thing he does is stick his head in a horse trough because, he's
He's
almost
hot,
dying
right,
of
yeah.
thirst, right? So he goes in some store and he wants to buy a gun.
Sure.
Because he has nothing,
Sure.
right? He got left in the desert with, no wallet, no gun, no horse, no saddle, whatever. So the guy puts out, all these revolvers, and he looks at them, and he just sweeps them off the thing, and he says, revolvers. And he's like, well, here's where the good ones are. So here's a Colt, here's a Smith & Wesson, blah, 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 right? And he's like, that's enough. So he takes one, works this, takes one, and he ends up taking the action from one, the barrel from another, and the cylinder from a third, puts them all together, and now he's got a gun that works, right?
Yeah.
I did that with this case. Where
In
I
what
took
way?
They had a thingy that goes around your neck.
Yeah.
With these two little things, and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I don't want to do that.
No, I'm pretty sure you don't
So
want that
I
either.
had to take the shackle from my old one, and then the
spare flights for
the spare flights they had on a little keychain, and I'm thinking that's gonna break. So I took off a different keychain. I took a solid ring to stick it in there, and then the inside thing, it has a thingy, that keeps your darts and your points and everything, but it was white. And I'm like, I got a black case, so I had to take the old one from my old case and swap them out and all that. So I'm
it all together.
it was just funny because I get the box, I get the shipment from Cosmo. It's got all this stuff in it, and Jill sees me open the box, looks inside, sees the case, grabs the case, and just opens it up, starts looking, opening, unzipping, and I'm like, well, you're all over that case, aren't you? And it's not a purse.
Did she think she was going to get it?
I don't know. I that's the first time that I've seen her actually totally voraciously jealous about something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I should get her one for her birthday. She's got a birthday coming up. But anyway, happy birthday, by the way, to a whole bunch of people, but especially Gordon Dixon had a birthday. What is today?
Today's the 13th.
Okay. Gordon Dixon had a birthday yesterday, and I think Betty Cunningham had a birthday today. So, tournament players, happy birthday to everybody.
She had a birthday today? She's having a birthday today.
Is that
it is well?
Is that correct?
It's not past tense yet. It's still today.
Okay.
I don't know. Just saying.
Okay. By the way, we're still looking for nominations for Newcomer of the Year and the Men's Most Outstanding Player. We have the women's.
We have the women's.
We have the women's most outstanding player. We will not announce it today
till we have everything.
But I have done the calculations. We went to the computer bank.
Yeah.
Went to HAL, the HAL 9000. Spit out a name for us. So we have that, but we still need a Newcomer of the Year. And if you guys want to see me get my hair cut, you're going to have to cough up the case.
I was just going to ask you
because
about
I don't
that.
really.
Do we have an update?
Last update I heard was so anemic that my hair is going to end up down to my ankles because there's no way on earth that
You're
I'm
going
doing
to Philly
it
for that.
Yeah, not a chance. So you guys,
how much time we got till that tournament?
We got only have a couple of weeks.
Right.
So if you guys want to see me, cut my hair and help out the Toys for Tots, by all means, start coughing it up. You go to our Facebook page and there's a link to Johnny K's donation page and. Put Steve's haircut or Steve's a jerk, whatever. Put something in the subject line so they know that it's for the haircut because they're keeping track of that.
Yeah.
And we'll get that done.
All right.
It was very disappointing, to be honest with you. That
especially with all the people that say that you should get your hair cut.
Yeah.
You would think they would put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
But that
let's
doesn't
see.
Seem to be
why isn't Ray Carver putting in a bunch of money?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's,
and these guys that think they're going to sneak up on me and
cut
it while I mean they're going to end up in jail or worse. I mean I grew up in a mafia part of town. Right. And speaking of the mafia, oh no, well, every now and then somebody will call me.
The mafia? Are they playing darts?
The mafia?
Yeah.
Every now and then.
Relevant to Dart Talk?
Well, it's somewhat relevant.
Okay.
I mean, because I made a comment the last show we did about how it seems to me like the soft tip vending industry is kind of structured like it was structured by the mob, right? So every now and then somebody will call me before the show, and I'll get in a long conversation with somebody, and it ends up affecting what I say on the show, right? And I'm not going to quote anybody. Well,
did you get a call from the mob?
No, I didn't get a call from the mob.
Okay.
But to be honest with you, I heard one very disturbing rumor.
Which would be?
The rumor I heard was that people that have a bar with soft tip machines in it, if they have the temerity to put in one of these new machines that have just hit in the market, then all their players are going to be banned from playing in some league. And, when I heard that, I'm kind of like, okay, this is absolutely suicidal. And I have problems with this on a number of levels. Right? So one of the local guys, Brad, I don't know if you know Brad. He's like nickel tungsten guy, younger guy.
Doesn't ring a bell right now, but I'm sure if I saw him.
He lent me a book. I can't remember the last time somebody actually lent me a book. 25 years ago.
What was the book about?
It's Sid Waddell's book, or one of them, about darts. And he said, you'll find it entertaining. I mean, I'm reading this book and I'm feeling drunk because it's just page after page of like, he's drinking with this guy, he's drinking with that guy, he's drinking with this guy. And
just
this
the same dart book you were reading 3 weeks ago or whatever?
Yeah, I'm almost done.
Okay.
I got about, 100 pages left. I mean, it's not like I just sit there and read it. It's just like if I have time. But one of the things that I find interesting in the book is he's talking about the split between the PDC and the BDO. The British Dart Organization used to run like the big world championship in Britain, and they organized all the local leagues, the county leagues and everything were all under the auspices of the BDO. And at some point, the top players wanted to do something on their own, and the BDO immediately started banning them from BDO events.
If they went and played something else. Right.
Yeah, if they were going to play in this other thing, then they couldn't play in the BDO thing because, the BDO wanted to be in charge of everything. And I'm of the opinion, again, I'm not political, but I'm of the opinion that whatever's good for the players is good for the game.
Sure.
That is what makes
it's
the game
not like the
good.
Difference between playing in the NFL and the Canadian League.
I don't know. I went to the Bulls game last night, courtside seats for free.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, it was awesome. Although
they didn't play very well till the last 5 minutes of the game.
Well, honestly, I mean, I watched we were right. The Celtics warmed up in front of us. Yeah. I watched Kevin Garnett make like 15 straight. What's the free throw line? 12 feet?
10 feet.
The free throw line's 10 feet?
Yeah.
Okay, so 13 footers.
Right.
He made 15 straight 13 footers, and I'm counting the one that would have been in if the other ball didn't come and knock it out. Then he moved over and made another 10. And I'm like, wow. And, they're very organized. They go to their spots. They blah, 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 blah. Beginning of the second half, I see the Bulls, and they look like 11 guys that showed up for a pickup game. They don't even look like a team. And there's a big turnover. Yeah. Right? I don't know.
So it was frustrating?
Well, no. Right. I mean, it's just sort of like, when you're
talking
talking about league.
Should they be banned from playing?
Well, no. Yeah, I know this was a tangent because I wanted to talk some about league darts. Right. But anyway, getting back to, this mob action. Yeah. Right, where the BDO's banning the best players, and the best players end up cutting their own deal with a TV network, starting their own tour, and now the BDO's irrelevant, and the PDC is the king of darts. So how'd that work out for the BDO? Not very well. Right. So now...
Which is the same concept you've been talking about with the...
Well, no, I mean...
with the people who have sponsors and can't play on a different board.
Here's the thing. If you're like the Celtics... If you play in a dart league and you're like the Celtics, where you know everybody on your team, you're all comfortable with each other, you're used to playing, you like a night out of competition and playing, I totally get that, and I can see why you would do it. Okay? Right. From a recreational, competitive standpoint, I could see why you would want to do it. right? But the NDA, which is like the biggest soft tip league, is the more I learn about it, the more I'm like, what a scam, and what chumps people are for even playing with these people. So if but okay, whatever. People play what you want to play. I mean, if you're just somebody that just plays darts once a week and you don't really have a big picture overview of darts in America and all this other stuff, why would you even care about this stuff?
You wouldn't. Right. No.
I mean, what do you care if you play this machine or that machine or this machine? You just want to play. So I mean, I don't know that the players are really going to be all that nuts about it. But when you look at where darts is in America today, and then you talk to somebody who was around 20 years ago and where darts was then, how did it get so bad? Whereas, on the other hand, in England, it's grown, and here it's shrunk.
Yeah.
So what are they doing differently, and what are we doing differently? And the only conclusions that I've come to is that we don't have one organization with a plan
You want a
move
governing
darts
body
forward in America.
Right.
Well, you've got all these individual things. Now, on the steel side, you've got some leagues. You got the ADO, and I've never seen the ADO's marketing plan for increasing participation in darts in America. I haven't seen anything.
No.
And I'm sure it doesn't exist.
Probably not.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, the soft tip is different because the soft tip, you have different stakeholders. You have the machine manufacturers who have basically faced almost no competition that's new in the last 30 years. Right, you had Valley got bought out. You had Arachnid, and whatever else. I don't play a lot of soft tip. I'm sure I'm missing somebody. So, and then you have leagues. Right, the NDA is the biggest league, and what they do is they charge the board manufacturers like 6 figures for permission for the league people to use their boards, which strikes me as like protection money.
Kinda.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
Once I'm a board manufacturer and I give these people $250,000 of cash money
for permission
for their leagues to use my boards, then I don't really have to worry about a new board manufacturer coming around, because they also have things where if you're a new board manufacturer, there's a 2-year period where you can't play in our leagues.
Okay.
So what you're buying is basically cartel protection from the NDA, right?
Right.
Where, okay, you give us money and we'll make sure no other board manufacturers can come in, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, now there's more board manufacturers that are buying into that, but one of them isn't. Well, good for the one that isn't. Because that sort of a system, I think, is like anti-player. Why on earth, would you have some organization tell you what machines you can play?
Do you think...
what is that?
Do you think steel tip is disintegrated over the years? His
in the process of disintegrating.
His plastic?
Although,
has soft tip gone down too? Or?
Yeah, absolutely it has.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, participation's down in soft tip too, and anybody that says it isn't is flat out lying to you. They're just lying.
Yeah.
You can see for yourself. I've been to the Bull Shooter. I went there like 9 years ago, and I was there this year. This year, there was probably 1/4 of the people that were there 9 years ago. Now, why is that? If you go to somebody that's running a tournament or running a league or anything like that, and you say, how come participation is down, and they say it's the economy,
right,
they don't know what they're doing, and they shouldn't be running it. That's a pretty good litmus test. If somebody's running an organization and doesn't know what's happening and doesn't know and hasn't done anything to fix it,
right, but that's the thing,
hasn't made any efforts to change what they're doing, then they're idiots.
But if it is the economy is not going to change overnight, so you have to change something in order to make everything better.
Yeah, the economy's down. How's Apple doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
Everybody seems to be able to afford an iPhone.
Yeah, every year.
Right? Airlines are full. Yeah. I haven't been on I didn't have an empty seat on a flight all year.
Right.
Right? I go to the Bulls game. I get free tickets. Thanks, Jeff. $325 for courtside seats, and they're all taken.
People are buying them. Yeah.
Don't tell me it's the economy.
Yeah.
It's the fact that either you won't get off your ass,
and do
and
something
start
about
promoting the sport wherever you happen to be, right?
Yeah.
Or you're clueless and don't have a plan, and we're lucky that it's still going. That just shows you. I mean, but that's actually a good thing in some ways, because the people that are playing, you have a core of really interested people that are into the game. You just want to grow from there. So we're talking about contraction some other time. This is really, but seriously, I mean, if you're going to have some for-profit organization telling you what machines you can play, and then your reward is to get to play in some tournament in Vegas that's a total ripoff, that all you're doing is playing for your own money, and they're still making $500,000 in quarters or whatever.
Yeah.
Why do you support that organization? What do they do for you? They don't do shit.
They provide a tournament.
Can I say that?
No, not really.
We're going to lose our. Well, okay, I'll
We'll
bleep that out of
that
that.
one out.
No, but seriously, what are they? They're not doing anything
They're providing
for you,
a tournament
but
for you.
taking your money.
Yeah.
So if there's more money in soft tip, who's getting it? Because I don't see it going to the players. That's why when everybody, why don't you play soft tip? There's more money in it, and I just look at them like, oh yeah, really?
You don't see it.
No. So I think the paradigm for soft tip needs to change if they want soft tip to grow. As far as making steel tip grow, there have been efforts to change the paradigm and make it better, like the New World Dart Series in Dayton. I thought it was a big hit for the players. I mean, they needed to iron out some glitches and whatnot, and it was we gave it a great grade for a first time thing.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and I guess they're going to have another one. We'll talk about that next week.
Wait till next year and see if they iron out some glitches and everything improves from there.
I'm going to start really. You know what? I am going to call the NDA and see if I can get them on the record and make them defend some of the stuff they do, because I was extremely upset that they would pull something like that, and I have no problem ripping them. They can ban me from their tournament. I don't play in their stupid league anyway.
Right.
You know, handicap, sandbagging, whatever. I don't need any part of that.
No.
You know, but
I don't like the handicap.
I don't like the way they market themselves either. So whatever. But I mean, people like playing in a league, and they have a league, and if you're happy with them, then play. I mean, that doesn't mean.
But that doesn't mean it's going to grow the sport.
No, I think anything that's hurting the sport, like I'm ripping on people streaming online, being like, hey, be careful what you stream, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about the image of the sport now, right?
It's streaming a 2-hour match.
Well, okay, if the mob is running soft tip, then maybe we should get them out.
Get them out.
Maybe we need to move the studio.
Is the window closed?
Maybe we need to move the studio. All right, let's take a break.
We're
We'll be
gonna have to
right
face
back.
the window.
Jeez. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back for the second half. Brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. We're catching up on the chat there.
What's going on in England this weekend?
England has the Grand Slam of Darts.
Grand Slam of Darts.
Which is kind of a weird, kind of hybrid event. It's a an elite field or it's an invitational tournament where in order to qualify you have to finish either in the top 2 or the top 4 of a bunch of major tournaments over the last, I think it looked to me like it was the last 2 years. So it's a small field. And they play like they break them in groups of 2 and they have round robin, and then out of the round robin they get top 16 or top 8, whatever it is, they play knockout.
Is it something you think we could do here?
Very easily. I mean, it's very easy to do something like that
Wouldn't
here.
You'd have to name the major tournaments like we did? Something like in that effect? In order
well,
to,
yeah. Yeah,
you know?
that's one of the year-end things, what we're going to have to do. So December, we're going to have to do our awards.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have to talk about, what the majors are for next year and stuff. And we're going to have to talk about how you decide what tournaments to go to, because there's way more options now. And I want to also, get a little more detailed as far as like the economics of darts, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there. And if you're going to travel to a tournament, how do you decide what tournament to travel to?
We've talked about that a little bit, but
it's December. And then we'll get into the hypermodern cricket, and we'll have to get to that. But
so there's a big thing in England do a lot of people strive for it in order to play? They play in a lot of tournaments in order to try and qualify for this one.
What used to make it interesting to me is that you would have BDO players playing it, and I'm pretty sure everybody kind of knows that the best players are in the PDC, and the BDO is kind of like the minor leagues. But the top BDO players, when they move over to the PDC, generally do pretty well. So I mean, there are good players, right? It's kind of like
it's just not as diverse.
Yeah, but this tournament used to have the BDO players playing as well as the PDC players, and that made kind of interest. It's like interleague play.
Okay.
I mean, that made it a little more interesting. I mean, the darts themselves, to watch round robins and everything, is kind of like I don't think watching a round robin is terribly compelling. It's not as compelling as knockout because there's a different mentality to round robin.
Yeah.
But it's always good to see this guy play that guy, especially with the interleague thing where it's like, they never play each other. Like, would Martin Adams beat Phil Taylor?
I have no idea.
Well, Martin Adams won a bunch of the BDO titles in a row, while Phil was winning
PDC.
But then Raymond van Barneveld, came over and won one. So I mean, and Gary Anderson came over, and a bunch of guys have come over and done well. So it's not like they can't play. But that was always the interest to me, and I don't see. Again, we need a venue.
Sure,
they have great venues in England, and I'm reading this book about these pros that go out every night to do exhibitions, and they have like a working man's club, which is, I guess, kind of like a Moose Lodge or
That's
something.
What I was going to ask.
Or
Elks
something
Lodge,
like that.
something
And
like that.
they'll go there and do an exhibition,
Yeah.
and the player will get, $6, $7, $8, $1,000, and he'll play, 20 of their guys, a leg 1,001, and, do this and that, and, joke around with a microphone and stuff. And I'm like, oh, how come we don't do that here? I mean, I could go into any city in America and beat everybody. One leg of 1,001, and I'm going to play all you guys. I'll win them all.
Yeah.
Give me $1,000 to show up, and I'll practice.
Be there for 5 hours,
Yeah.
right?
And then and then if you beat the pro, you get like $100.
Yeah.
However it works. I mean, there's ways to do it, and the fact that we don't do that,
Well, it goes towards marketing again.
yeah.
Marketing your sport.
Yeah. I mean, why isn't that something that people are interested in? And the people running darts in Chicago were so like, I don't even know how to characterize their attitude, because they would have a British guy do it, but they won't have an American guy do it. Like, you'll bring in like some legend, like Bob Anderson was running around doing exhibitions for a while. They had John Lowe coming in. They're great. They're like past champions from like 20, 30 years ago. But why aren't you having the Americans do it? Why don't you get like the top 2 or 3
Well, is it
Americans
possible they
to
asked,
show up?
but nobody said they would do it?
I remember I just don't see why we can't do stuff like this here, and who wouldn't want to see that?
Well, yeah, if they want to see the other guys.
I mean, nobody in Chicago wants to see me because they see me all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they actually don't see me much anymore, but, you used to be able to find me on a Friday night blind draw and stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm sure in, like, Columbus, nobody wants to see Gordon Dixon. In Pennsylvania, nobody wants to see Darren Young. But they would here.
Yeah.
Because it's, not a novelty exactly, but you don't get to see these guys up close playing very much, especially if you're not going to tournaments.
Right. For sure.
So, I mean, why aren't we doing something like that? Especially, coming up next year. If you got a week off between tournaments,
well, who sets up the exhibitions in England, though?
The top players have a manager who gets on the phone,
right?
Stuff like that. They did an exhibition before Stanford last year in New York, and I believe it was connected to opening like a new dart bar, and they got like. Well, they didn't invite me, so they didn't get the top Americans, but they got some of them. They got some of the top guys to show up and everything. And what I heard was it was really popular, and I don't understand why they're not doing that before every big tournament.
Right.
You can't always have me show up, but you can have some of these other guys show up that are decent players. I mean, we're going to have to, like, fix their nicknames, but... See, because, I'm looking, and I look in the chat room, and I don't know. I know who some of those people are, but I most of them, I don't know who they are. I'd ask you.
You've had a lot. You actually had a lot of nicknames in your career.
I have had many nicknames.
Decent amount.
Some
of them that you don't like being mentioned.
The ones that are like totally insulting.
Right.
I'm like, let's get away from that.
Right.
The fact that whatever.
Who's got the best nickname in darts then? Or
I'll tell you who doesn't.
List. Are
the guys in the top of the Bob Seneve, I don't even think has a nickname. Gordon Dixon doesn't have a nickname. Jimmy Widmer doesn't have a nickname.
But
Larry Butler has a nickname that's crap. Well,
there you go again.
I don't think it's a very good nickname.
Are we going to have to put the show on delay? 7-second delay for you?
I'm pretty sure you can say.
What? Okay, yeah, but that doesn't list who's the best. So you're saying
I'm running down the list.
You think these guys should have a nickname?
Well, this is part of the problem.
Do you think the best dart players should have a nickname?
Look, one of the Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
One of the things.
I should have known that.
One of the things that helps you promote a sport is having players,
a nickname, a catchphrase, something.
Players with personality.
Yeah.
Because you look at the NFL, right? All the players wear helmets. Right, so it's more of a team identity. But in baseball or basketball,
every boxer's got a nickname.
Right. Every PDC player has a nickname. So you run down the list of the Americans, they don't even have nicknames.
Right.
Johnny K is not a nickname; it's an abbreviation.
Yeah.
Jimmy Wid is not a nickname; it's an abbreviation.
Right.
So if you can't even come up with a nickname,
like Joe hits a lot of triples.
Well, I thought that was a good nickname.
Yeah.
But I mean, literally, how do you promote somebody who doesn't even have the personality to have a nickname?
You need billboard material.
Yeah.
And a nickname is billboard material.
And it's bad enough these guys put on these like ridiculous shirts. But now you're not even going to have a nickname. You're going to put the name on your back. Some of them are signatures I can't read. Some of them are just like, some hideous graphic design that I can't read.
Yeah.
And then some of them are just like block print. Like, okay, well, I kind of knew your name was that anyway. So, so there are some guys, and it seems to me like the soft tippers are way ahead of the steel
with the
tippers
nicknames. Plus, it helps because then people that don't know who they are and they just see a nickname and they're like, "Oh, who's that?" And then they find out.
The soft tip cultures. It's like the chat room. Somebody's like. Oh, hey, man, I was talking to Animal the other day. I'm like, well, who's Animal?
Yeah.
And he looks at me like I'm a retard.
Of course.
What do you mean you don't? And some of them, literally, they don't even go by their names.
No.
Oh, I played blind draw on Tuesday. Oh, yeah, how'd you do? Oh, well, yeah, I lost a Tank.
Who's
I don't even know who Tank's
right.
I don't even know his name. But he's Tank. He's built like a tank. He's like an ex-wrestler or something.
Yeah.
Huge dude. Nice
and then
guy.
you know who he's talking about.
Right. So, like, I played a guy in Dayton in the first round of the knockout. Great player. And somebody's like, so who'd you play? I'm like, oh, this Adam, I think it was Klingfelter or something. Oh, Animal. Oh, you played Animal. Oh, Animal's a great player.
Yeah.
And it's like you say their name, and there's just like, huh, who? And it's
Right.
like, but, you know, they're
You say the
identified
nickname,
by a
yeah.
nickname.
You say
Oh, okay, I played Animal.
Well, I
or
know how
played
that
this
works.
guy, I played that guy. And then in the steel tip, it's just like nothing.
Right.
Right? So who's got a good
you don't know why
who's
that
got
is.
a good nickname?
I don't know. You tell me.
Brandon Rogers.
Which is?
The Show.
Oh, okay.
There's
There
a
you go.
nickname. Everybody take after Brandon Rogers.
Right.
Okay. He's actually, you know, got it down.
I think Big Daddy's fits for him
Yeah,
too.
Big Daddy's okay. I mean, it fits him, and it's actually a nickname that isn't an abbreviation or some
Exactly.
lame ass.
Right.
Ooh, I'm the Hawk. Like
Ray
I
Carver.
find that
Ray Carver has a nickname, doesn't he? Well,
Well-
it's Razor, isn't it?
yeah, it's kind of a nickname.
As
Does he?
opposed-
Is he built like a razor?
Well, no.
Does he shave every day? Yeah, Ray Razor. Okay, I get it. You know, you're an American. You're the Eagle. Okay, I get it. There's some lame ass connection, but
Okay.
it's not very good,
Right.
and it's definitely not very marketable.
Yeah, like the show.
Unless you have a nose like a beak,
Then
or
you're
it's
called
yellow,
Big
or
Bird or
whatever.
whatever.
Well, whatever. I mean, it's just sort of like, how are you supposed to promote something that is so dull and boring?
I agree. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm running down the list of
What's
like
your
the,
nickname?
Oh, I have no nickname.
Okay, so
No.
you're ripping on others, but you're a top player.
Well, because
in America, and you don't have a
everybody
nickname
knows
either.
everybody knows the nickname that I had, and it got booted.
Which
so
one? The one
actually-
that has to do with
yeah.
California, or the one that has to do with eating?
Well, yeah, you think it has to do with eating. However, I took it in a different way.
I know you did. Yeah.
No, but the
Well, what happened to Hollywood?
God, what happened to Hollywood? Nobody's called me Hollywood in a long time.
That was
That was my first nickname.
Oh, that was
in
the
darts.
first one. I
Yeah.
thought that was the second one.
No.
Oh, okay. So that's why. So it
I
went,
got Hollywood.
Hollywood.
I
when-
had
probably when
Hollywood
you
for a
came here.
long
Yeah.
time.
So well,
I had Hollywood when I was in the FAA.
might have to go
Because
back
I was
to that.
from Hollywood.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I'm a long time away from Hollywood, and I'm not Hollywood anyway. I'm not that way.
All right.
But I mean, these guys got to get on the stick if they,
So now we need everybody to have Facebook suggestions for what your nickname should be.
Let's get nicknames for some other people.
Sure.
I mean, we can. I'll come up with something, but the idea somehow that you're gonna, because we could do exhibitions. Let's, everybody would like to see,
Yeah.
people show up and throw fantastic because it gives the average player an idea of what is possible. Right?
Yeah.
And why should they have to go on Justin TV to see that? They should be able to see it in their home bars.
Right.
Right? And nobody wants to see the local guy unless I show up to kick the local guy's butt.
Right.
Everybody would like to see that. Everybody would like to see an exhibition where I show up and beat the best guy in the bar bloody because they want to see that guy lose because he's been beating them.
Everybody else, yeah.
Right? In Chicago, people would love to see somebody come and clean my clock.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're going to have to fly him in from England, but or Holland, or whatever.
Somewhere overseas.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, it's like, why not have that kind of thing?
Right.
Right? Because what do we have now? You've got the Mafia
Well, in
running
Chicago, you have nothing.
one for-profit tournament in Vegas every year. This soft-tip league. One soft-tip tournament every year. One soft-tip tournament for these guys. One for this guy. I mean, don't tell me that there's not room for more, right?
Well, you'd think so.
We're going to talk about this some more. Because the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I like all these guys. Like, Jimmy's a great guy. Jimmy Wood's a great guy. How can you go play darts for 20 years and not have a nickname?
Maybe
Did
he's
you
got
threaten
one.
everyone
Yeah,
to-
but maybe he's got one they just never liked. Nothing stuck.
I don't know. Like Johnny K. I'm going to abbreviate my name because nobody can spell it or pronounce it. That's not a nickname. And he never should have embraced it. He should have come up with something else.
Well, you can't come up with your own nickname.
You can.
Well, you can, but it doesn't seem to work that way. Most nicknames that stick, somebody comes up with it for them. You know what I mean?
never bought into that. I
just think it's the way it
understand
works.
that that's kind of the tradition.
Because it's conceited if you make your own nickname.
It's only conceited if you're calling yourself the Wonderful. Like
Well-
like there's one guy whose nickname was the Dominator. And I watched him play, and I was like, well, he ain't dominating anything. Like Peter One Dart Manley. Every time he misses a double, I'm like, do you want to tear that off the back of your shirt? Right? And there was a story behind, like Adrian Lewis.
Okay.
Right? His nickname is Jackpot. I'm not sure he embraces it. I don't hear him using it much anymore. But the deal with him was he went to Vegas when he was 20 to qualify for one of these things. And went by some slot machine, threw in some money, and won like $71,000. And then they come to pay him off. They card him, and they find out that he's 20. So instead of getting $71,000, he goes to jail. Phil Taylor's got to bail him out. So he misses there's 2 qualifiers in one day. He misses the first one, shows up, wins the second one. Has got this look on his face like, I can't believe what's happening to me.
Right.
So they start calling him Jackpot. That's funny.
It is funny.
Okay.
But he didn't create the nickname himself.
Well, no, but he did by his own actions.
That's right. I know. Right. I get that.
Yeah. Well,
but you don't sit at home. Adrian Lewis wasn't sitting at home going, I need a nickname, and he's writing down, AL and writing down all this other stuff and canceling them out, and then all of a sudden comes up with something, sticks it on the back of his shirt, and tells everybody that they have to call him that.
I get what you're saying. And it's one of those things where it just sort of evolves into something, and if there's some humor in it, then,
it works.
That it works. Yeah. Like Trainwreck. I mean, there's probably 50 people that nickname could apply to, but they gave it to somebody worthy, so I'm all over that. And it's fine. I mean, so you're going to call yourself TW, like, okay, whatever. I mean, I get it.
Right.
Are we just babbling this show or what?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a good conversation.
We even talked about darts. Well, we're sort of like around the periphery, aren't we? Okay, let's take a break and get heavy and serious about something. I don't know. We'll be right back. Back for the fourth quarter. Brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. This is a good segue. We're talking about nicknames. And, a good nickname will encapsulate something about either the player's style of play or his appearance
personality,
or his personality.
Yeah,
right. Something like that. Like Phil the Power Taylor. But where did that come from?
Well, somebody had to give it to him.
Well, he's stuck with it now since it's tattooed on his dart arm.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I never thought that was a great nickname, but, you can't really argue with it.
But if they start calling him and he embraced it and went with it, so, I mean, that's, yeah. Not every nickname's going to be a great one.
Well, like Raymond
some are better than
Raymond
others.
Van Barneveld, they call him Barney. Okay, that's an abbreviation.
Yeah.
But it's better than, like, Johnny K. If he was Ray B., what would that be?
Yeah.
So, okay, but he had like a Barney Rubble cartoon on the back of his shirt, which admittedly is copyright infringement, but okay, he's Barney.
Yeah.
I get it. That there's something wrong with that.
It's better than a purple dinosaur.
Oh, is it? Oh, right. Oh, yeah. See, I too old for that, but I didn't have kids. So
I'd rather see that.
I never went through the Barney thing.
Yeah.
But the idea that none of our top players have nicknames. We're going to have to.
We're going to have to change it.
And we gave everybody walk-on songs. I don't want to take the responsibility of giving people nicknames, but I may start if nobody else is going to.
No, but I think what happens is just it evolves. But the more tournaments you go to, you start bringing it up and you talk to people, and then people start bringing out stories, and eventually you might get some nicknames for some people. Because it's going to be relative to something about their personality. And so if you start finding out stories about them or their game or something that's happened, like jackpot, something like that, then all of a sudden maybe they'll evolve from there.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many guys you can call tiny.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Or slim or, whatever.
Lefty.
Right,
yeah.
lefty.
Yeah.
Right?
Whatever.
I mean, so I don't know. Yeah. We'll have to figure something out.
But so what you're saying is, so then now that, that leads us to, if we were ever going to talk about darts, we're trying to talk about,
well, we want to
hypermodern cricket.
Yeah, we gotta start chipping away at the hypermodern cricket. And it was funny, I made the mistake of going on Facebook today, which I've been avoiding, and I saw something about one of the old-time women who I've never met is Kathy Maloney, and I believe I always thought she was from the East Coast somewhere, but she lives in Florida now, and she said something about she's going to have an ebook coming out in June.
Okay,
Darts My Way, and I'm thinking maybe we should do that with the hypermodern cricket and write it down, put it up on Amazon as an ebook.
Yeah,
right, and expound on some of the stuff that we're doing here. So, what do you think about that?
Sounds like a plan.
If you got free time in the near future and you could type, you'd be helpful, right? Because I didn't have time to put the examples together to talk about some of the stuff. So we can start, though, with identifying your opponent, right? So
which would be number one on the hypermodern.
That's number one. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So and
you got different type of players.
Well,
you're trying to identify.
And here's one of the main concepts of hypermodern cricket that and again, we should probably start the show with this because we've been on for almost an hour and we're just getting to it.
And by the way, we'll talk about it next week.
No,
which is what's going to happen.
Well, here's the thing with here's one of the primary fundamental concepts of hypermodern cricket that is different from thermonuclear cricket and stuff like that is an enlarged view of the match. Give you an example. If you read through these articles on thermonuclear cricket, he'll have like a little scoreboard and say, okay, here's the situation, and I am going second, and I did this, and then they did this, and what do I do next?
Yeah.
That isn't really how I look at cricket. Because when you're, and again, the idea behind teaching people hypermodern cricket is so they can make the correct decision. Right. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's like, because I mean, darts is pretty simple.
Is there ever more than one correct decision, or is there pretty much?
Well,
is it close to?
There are
variations.
If you're going to play the percentages, you can calculate that. But then there's other factors that you weigh in with the percentages to come up with your decision.
Okay.
So, depending on the kind of player you're playing, that will affect your decision.
Right.
Right? But there's also the idea behind looking at the totality of a match is if you run track and you run a 100-yard dash, there's no strategy.
Yeah, run as fast as you can.
You try to get a good start and then hold your form to the end and run as fast as you can. But it isn't that way in a mile. If you're going to run a mile race and you look at some of these times, slow times, fast times, right?
Yeah.
Are you running against guys that can outkick you? Are you running against rabbits?
Well, some yes and some no.
Well, it depends on the race.
Yeah.
I mean, you may be in a race with a bunch of rabbits and you look around and you're like, none of these guys can beat your...
They won't make it to the end.
Yeah,
right.
Well, they can't beat your last lap time.
Yeah.
Right? Did you ever see this movie? They did I was a big Steve Prefontaine fan.
Okay.
Because he was a star when I was running track.
Yeah.
And I used to run like, half miles and stuff. I didn't like it. I was a good hurler. But in the movie, there's two of them. The one that has Donald Sutherland as his coach, the guy who invented like the waffle sole for Nike running shoes, back the big running boom, end of the 70s, came up with a strategy for him to beat Frank Shorter, who was our first American marathon runner, where he's like, what you do is you run the first lap at 69 seconds, then the second lap at 68, and the third lap at 67, and the fourth lap at 66, and you'll grind this guy into the ground, and he won't know what you're doing because the change in your pace is so subtle, he won't notice it.
Okay.
And it turns out that it works. Hypermodern cricket, when you find out who you're playing, assuming you're not playing a total stranger, you start formulating your strategy based on a 3-leg match.
At what point can you determine what type of player you're playing?
Well, some of it's trial and error, and some of it is if you're observant. And by observant, I mean, what do you do? If you go to a dart tournament and you're out in the first round, what do you do? If you go back if you go back to your room and watch TV, or you go hang out at the bar and talk to your friends, you're not going to improve yourself much.
Right.
So, like,
a little scouting never hurts.
I'm not sure it's even scouting. It's a matter of, like, get a sense of what level of play it takes to win an event. Get a sense of how this guy plays. If you watch, and you know, 0-1 is different, but cricket, if you watch a guy play 2 matches,
you should have a good idea.
You should have a very good idea of how he plays. Right?
Right.
Is he? Does he go for a lot of glory shots? Is he overconfident? Does he get nervous under pressure? Right? Does he have a favorite number?
Sure. Okay. Generally, yeah. Just
does he see or show when it's his choice on the diddle? Does he like to see or show when he diddles? Does he? Because one of the concepts when you know your opponent is if he wants to do A, you do B.
Yeah.
And if he wants to do A and B, you do C. You don't play his game. You make him play your game, which requires some versatility on your part.
Right.
But all hypermodern cricket players can play any type of style.
Form. Right.
Because there is no style. In hypermodern cricket, there's a decision tree that you follow where, and again, darts is pretty simple. What do you aim at and can you hit it? Hypermodern cricket teaches you what to aim at, and then you just have to hit it. You're going to have to hit it.
Yeah.
But even missing sometimes can help you. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're playing cricket against somebody, and it's just 20s and 19s. We'll keep it simple, right?
Yeah.
It's just 20s and 19s. There are times when, let's say you've got the 19s and I've got the 20s, and at some point you throw your third dart at the 20.
Okay.
Even though you didn't trip it and close it, it has meaning. And it has meaning on more than one level. Because it has meaning to your opponent that he's not going to be able to sit on that forever. You're going to be taking your shots at it. Whereas if you're just going to sit on the 19s and, you know, pound away hoping that you're going to throw a couple more trips than him and then you're going to go fat to close, that doesn't put any sort of pressure on somebody. And one of the concepts, you know, we're going to be getting to later is find the pressure points. If you want to win cricket games, you have to find a way to put the pressure on the other guy and take it off yourself. That's how you win. Winning cricket and hypermodern cricket is about changing the game in your favor whenever you can.
Yeah.
And one way to do that is put the pressure on the other guy. That's why people say, oh, well, I never chase. I just laugh and say, well, you'll never beat me.
Right.
Because there are times when chasing works. Not, you know, you don't chase somebody for 3 legs, but I'm just saying that there are times when...
But you're getting into your opponent's mind that you're willing to close a number or shoot for something. They can't just rest on their laurels and sit there and score on it all day.
But that changes the game.
Yeah.
So even though you didn't hit it, it had an effect.
Right.
Right?
And hopefully at least you hit a single.
Well, we'll talk about learning how to miss next week because a lot of people don't know how to miss. And I've mentioned that on this show, and somebody emailed saying, you know, what do you mean by that? I'm like, you know what? That's a good point. We'll have to put that.
Talk about that.
I would say 95% of the players in America don't know how to miss. That's why they lose a lot of times.
Sure.
Yeah. So
It's what makes good baseball hitters. They know how to foul a ball off.
Yeah, you foul off the good pitches and you wait for the cookie.
Yeah.
I like cookies.
Who doesn't? But
Cubs hitters. Cubs hitters miss the cookies.
Cubs hitters know how to miss.
Well, right.
But that's for another day.
We're already over an hour. And we still didn't talk about the types of players.
No.
See, that's why.
One of these days we'll figure out a good progression to get into this. I promise
everyone, first thing we do next week is we will start with the cricket because we're just kind of, I don't know. I had fun today.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
I had fun. I don't think.
What do you got coming up
it was.
from a dart tournament standpoint?
Oh, this weekend is the Buckeye Open.
Okay.
In Columbus, Ohio.
Do they walk around going Buckeye?
Well, you know what? It was always the same weekend as the Michigan Ohio State college football game, so guys would wear their colors and their jerseys, which I always found interesting. But I think Ohio State's on probation or something. What are they, undefeated and totally ignored by everyone? And are they the best team in the country? I mean, obviously
not in the country. They're the best team in the Big Ten.
I posted something on Facebook about Alabama. I'm like,
after they lost,
can you put a whole state on suicide watch? And then somebody immediately put, I don't know, can you put a whole conference? Which I thought was brilliant because the whole conference. I don't know how Notre Dame is third either. Who'd Kansas State beat?
Because they haven't lost yet.
I know, but
you think Notre Dame should be higher?
Who did Kansas State beat? And who did Oregon beat? USC's lost 3 times.
Right.
Who's Oregon played? You got to get the politics out of sports. It's just you play them heads up.
2 years from now, there'll be the playoff system. So
yeah, and it'll be rigged and
there'll only be 4 teams.
What I heard is they're going to have 3 bowls. So how's that supposed to work? So 6 teams have 3, but then only 2 play for the championship. So
4 teams are playing for the championship, but then there's some other.
No, I swear to God, the powers that be want to have an election. They don't want to have people play it off. They want to have an election for college football. I do not understand this.
Right.
Is that more fan interest to be able to vote?
No, it's all about money.
Who's getting the money?
Well, depending on how many bowls there are and everything and what they can play in.
I like the old system better.
Yeah.
I like the totally mythical national championship where you would just vote and you would just go to your bowl games and they were all on New Year's Day and New Year's Eve and you could watch the Sugar Bowl and the Orange Bowl and the Rose Bowl.
There's 7 games on New Year's Eve and 7 games on New Year's Day.
It's New Year's Day. You watch college football with a hangover, and then the next day you watch the pros. It's like a great weekend. And now it's
a month
garbage.
Long. It's actually a month and a half long.
Now it's 6 weeks of bowls like maybe we should get a bowl game. Like
sponsored by the
American Steel Dart Association bowl game, where we get the Little Sisters of Mary against whatever team's on probation, like Ohio State, and see if they can score 400 points in an hour.
Right.
Little Sisters of Mary, they can play. I wouldn't underestimate them. College football, I don't know. I don't really watch it.
So anyway, you got the Southside Cup.
Yeah, here's the deal. The Southside Cup is this weekend in Chicago, but you got the Buckeye Open.
Yeah.
So what I generally do is, because on Sunday they just have like this kind of a city, like all the leagues in Ohio play each other. Sounds like a great deal. They do it in Florida. They do it in Carolina, where these statewide dart organizations get all the leagues together, and then the league sends a team and they play each other. I think in Florida they do it twice. Sounds like a great day of darts. And that's another thing we're going to talk about is there's a lot of one-day things that you could do locally.
Sure.
Like these the one-day MLD shoots. I haven't seen much posted about MLD lately, but I think those are great for players.
Yeah.
Right? Tie that in with an exhibition. Get one great day of darts in your area. Give the winner like an entry into one of the tournaments, Why not?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Won't happen in Chicago.
No. Not a chance.
Lame. Just a bunch of lamers. But yeah, the Southside Dart League, Southside Cup is this weekend too. So what I generally do is I play Columbus Friday, Saturday, and then drive back and then go show up Sunday.
there's nothing in Columbus on Sunday, or you just...
It's just for the Ohio people.
Oh, that part is.
Right.
Friday and Saturday is...
Yeah, so they end up with a great turnout because they get all the Ohio people to show up for the tournament, and then they get, people like me showing up to play Friday and Saturday, right? They get Canadians down there. I mean, it's always a good field. It's like the 4th time I've gone there, something like that. So, yeah, I like it. And it's, for me, I mean, it's kind of nice. I only got to get a hotel room for one night. Hopefully my partner doesn't bail on me.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from him in a couple of weeks, but I was set up for that. So, and it's a lot of darts because there's singles Friday and singles Saturday, and then there's a couple of doubles in there, and then there's a mixed Saturday night, which I think last year I skipped it and just went home.
And just came back for
Yeah, but it's too tiring because I show up at the Southside Cup on Sunday, and
everybody's
gunning for me, and I'm like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
So... So anyway, yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go play League tonight.
Oh,
These
do you
guys
again?
roped me into going to Thatch.
Oh, okay.
Well, I usually like it because they have. That's the other thing. We're gonna have to talk about alcohol at some point.
Right. We've touched on it before.
No, I mean, I think we should kind of get into it. I'm reading this guy's book, and I wonder if we're not embracing the social aspect of the sport enough.
Oh, you want to embrace it more?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Oh, okay. I thought you were on the other side of the fence.
What, for the show? Well,
no, not for the show. Just in general. I
don't know. I've been thinking about it.
Like the social aspect.
Yeah, well, I'm reading this book, and I'm kind of like, maybe we should talk about some of this stuff. I don't know. See what you think of it.
Well, we gotta get through Hypermodern Cricket before we can really talk about anything else.
Yeah, how far have we gotten in a month?
Not very.
We're on page.
Yeah.
Have we even finished the preface?
We're the type of people that you start one project and then you don't finish it because you start another one and you don't finish it. Now we've got 8 irons in the fire.
No. We've been chipping away at the Hypermodern Cricket. I mean, it's just sort of like. We had other stuff to talk about.
Right.
So we'll make Hypermodern Cricket a priority next week.
There's a possibility, though, 2 months from now, when we're done with Hypermodern Cricket, nobody's going to know exactly what we talked about because
we'll put a highlight show together.
It took like 3 months.
We'll get the clips of the end of the last 4 shows and just splice them together.
All right.
Okay, we're brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com's an official Cosmo distributor. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll hang out in the chat room for a little while, but then I got to run. And we will Dart talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening.
Everybody take care.